Hi everybody, how are you doing? Happy Halloween, it's Halloween today. And yes, I am on my walking route. So it's a beautiful day. Hope everybody's doing well and possibly get out to get a little bit of exercise. So last video I talked about our healthcare system. Today I actually want to cover my experience with our health insurance industry, and probably to the whole insurance industry in general, not just health insurance. So it's just probably just as bad. To me, the health insurance or the insurance industry, it's just a huge scam, to be honest. The only thing they're out there to do is to make money out of you, but they really don't want to pay you when you have any issues. You have to go through so much red tapes. Many doctors need to submit all of your documentation, your diagnosis, your conditions, and even that takes them forever to get you approval for any kind of treatments. So, but they're always upfront about taking your money, telling you that you didn't pay, or your bill is coming up, and if you have any sort of new conditions, they can easily cancel your insurance policy and you're stuck. Another disclaimer is these are all basically experience of my own. The times I have been through dealing with the insurance and doctors trying to get approval, how frustrating it is. It's all my own experience and opinion, and everybody has their own. And if you have certainly any medical questions and needs, please reference those to your doctor, or call your insurance company to make sure that you are covered for any kind of conditions. So insurance policy is one of the big, probably one of the biggest industries in the US, probably a handful, probably not just in the US, probably around the world, along with the big pharmas, the oil industries. Yeah, I just think that they've gotten too big and too powerful, and even the government, well, the US government, is probably good for nothing. They can't do anything about these companies, and they can't make any changes. As a matter of fact, the insurance companies or these big industries pretty much kind of tells the government what to do. So now in regards to health insurance, if you're one of those healthy people, one of those 80%, and yeah, majority of the human beings, of course, are fairly healthy, but everybody has their medical conditions and medical needs once in a while, or at least once in their lifetime. But if you're one of those healthy ones, and you're lucky enough to get a job, or you have your own business, you do very well in the industry, making millions and billions, you have no problem buying insurance. Or if you're working, company is buying your insurance policy for you. Some are free, some jobs will make you pay a portion, and the company covers a portion, and it depends on how good the insurance you are getting from your company. Now, I used to work for a non-profit organization, and before that I worked for a computer store. They do have quite a, they are a booming computer industry, you know, in those in the 90s. But the insurance policy between the two are just extremely huge in difference. The non-profit organization that I work for, the insurance policy is super great. It's fully covered. I didn't have to come out with a penny out of my pocket or out of my paycheck. And whenever I go see a doctor, it was a $10 copay. I mean, it's not so bad, $10 copay for pretty much anything. And hospitalization, I believe, is $500 on the copay for hospitalization if I ever have to stay in the hospital or ER. And we also have, you know, something called what was that? I think it was a flex spending. You put a few $1,000s there, but you can actually claim those back and use those for any kind of need. Medical claims for deductibles or, you know, other necessary stuff. But the insurance I have for my other, from the computer store, that's pretty horrible. I have to pay $45 for a doctor's copay, and I think it was like $2,000 to $3,000 for hospitalization. So when I talk about health insurance, the difference is, you know, how good the coverage is and what kind of policy they're getting. The non-profit organization is it was a Blue Shield, and it was not cheap. I have information to the Insight. So they were paying in the early 2000s. The company was paying $700 for my health insurance policy, just personally for myself. Yeah, and there's like 150 people in the company, and you know, insurance policies are charged by, you know, the age. I was fairly young at that time. Still think I am, but yeah, $700 is not cheap for a policy, versus probably my other company. They pay is, you know, 100 something or no more than $200 for some fairly small insurance company that's probably out of state or something. And the worst part about those is it's very hard to even find doctors that will accept their policy. So when I mentioned that, you know, the health insurance company, to me, that's really a big scam. Is, you know, when you have I'm not talking about all the other insurance. I'm just talking about the health insurance. It's very unfortunate how the healthcare system and the insurance company and the pharmaceutical company, they're all pretty much tied together, and how they work. It's really you cannot work with one without one or the other. That's why things are so expensive here. You know, they only know how to take your money, but when you needed something, it's very hard to get it approved. So for instance, now I have unfortunately, I have many medical conditions, and there are many different needs. The biggest issue I have is arthritis called ankylosing spondylitis, where my spine is completely fused. Now, I had multiple surgeries done. I finally got it done with the surgeries, and I needed treatments, and these are called biologics. They are very, very expensive. Now, as far as personally I know, if I have to pay out of pocket, it was like in the early 2000s, it was like $5,000, and it could be even more. It took months, and talk about months, and I have these, and I was on, like I said, I was on this great Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. Company is paying $700-800 for my policy. It took them months for my doctor to get approval for them to okay the medication, and yeah, it went back and forth, back and forth. I was in so much pain. Thing that I was always concerned about is, you know, I got this insurance through my job, and when I know these medications are so expensive, I was constantly afraid that, you know, I'll be out of a job. And what if you're out of a job and insurance is no longer available? The condition was bad enough, was extremely bad, not bad enough, extremely bad, to the point that I cannot work anymore. So I have to quit my job. Now the only thing that I was able to do was there was a COBRA program that I was able to buy my own insurance through COBRA, and I was paying that $800. After that, it was that's coming out of my own pocket when I'm not working for the company. But there's a limitation to that. You know, once that's over, then, you know, the COBRA program is done, and then you have to go buy your own insurance. And the worst part is, I have pre-existing conditions. The insurance company will not sell me a health policy. So, my God, I don't know, you know what, these are just so frustrating that you have to, you know, you're constantly going through, you know, medical conditions, and you're constantly worrying if your insurance is going to be valid, you're still going to have a job tomorrow or not, and you constantly worry about what if, you know, it's always like the what if question. And if I don't have a job, what am I going to do with insurance? They won't sell it to me, and I need these medications. And even for the general healthy populations, health insurance can be a problem for them too. Ultimately, or eventually, you know, they're going to have to consider and think about these insurance. If they're healthy, you know, single, they have nothing to worry about whether they have insurance or not. It's not something they need to be considered. But as I mentioned, you know, for people with health problems like us, we always think about whether we have insurance or not. But even for these healthy people, sometimes in their life, you know, they're going to get sick, or the insurance will cover their family. They have kids, they have families that needs these insurance. And, you know, some people who are stuck in a job that they don't like just because, you know, their insurance policy, their health insurance policy, covering their kids or their spouse and the family who has medical conditions. So it's a worrisome for pretty much everybody. There are plenty of other super expensive medications like diabetes, antiviral medications. Oh, just the recent what's that, COVID-19, $500-600 a dose, and it comes in, what's that, like about 15 pills. You're looking at about $40-50 a pill. Yeah, see how expensive it is. Yeah, the other issue was my I have sleep apnea, and to get the I've done the sleep test. All that proves that I do have sleep apnea, and I needed a machine. That took almost 4 to 6 months, if I remember correctly, before insurance approved a machine that cost you can buy it for maybe, I don't know, $1,500. So yeah, see how bad the insurance are. I have a friend that's paying, $4,000 or $5,000 for their family insurance policy, but they can't even use it. What I mean is they couldn't even get appointment to see a doctor for months, and especially during the COVID times, hospitals are sending people away, doctors are not taking any patients, and he got really angry because he said, I pay all these money for years and I can't even use it, I can't even go see a doctor, so what good is it? So it is quite frustrating in situations like that. I think it's just the US medical system and the insurance and the pharmaceutical company that kind of turned the industry to the way it is, because in other countries medicines are not as expensive, medicals are not as expensive. However, you still do have to pay. You always have to pay to see a doctor for any kind of medical services, but it's not nearly as expensive as what we are here. It's crazy how much that you're paying for the medications. Now, I do have so much medical problems. I do wish that we have universal health care, and I know that universal health care itself has their own problems, and there's just too many people, and treatment is very prioritized to the one that is more severe, and that's the same here as well. But at least with the universal health care, people like me, or other who has multiple medical conditions, do not have to constantly worry about insurance, whether they still going to be covered, whether they can still work, especially like ankylosing spondylitis. We all know it can damage the spine, damage all kinds of bones, to the point that it is disabling. And yeah, I finally have to go on disability because I couldn't work anymore, and there's just no way I can move. I can't fix my bones. It's not reversible, so treatment is only to maintain the condition. So I have to go on disability, and got myself onto Medicare, and even that I have to come up with 20%. That could be very expensive. That's how I know how much these biologics cost. It's $5,000, and they cover 80%. I have to come out with the 20%, and that's $1,000. But unfortunately, like I said, these companies are tied together. There's really no way of going around it without one or the other, because it's just so expensive. You're seeing a doctor is very expensive, and medication's expensive. Now, if we don't have the insurance to cover our medical expense, I don't know if anybody can afford it on their own. Well, I'm sure a lot of people can afford it on their own, but the one who has medical conditions are the one that are pretty much SOL, because working sometimes is not an option for people like us. well, we can't work. What am I gonna do? And we have pre-existing conditions, and you can't buy insurance even if you have money. So yeah, and these companies, they only know how to get your money. They only know how to tell you, oh, this policy is X amount of money. But in order for them to, pitch out the money for your treatment, that takes forever. And sometimes they would deny it. And I see a lot of people in the forum, they said they don't know what to do because the insurance has denied their treatments. So it's just very unfortunate that we have to deal with these situations. And I don't know if there's any way around it. The government can't do anything. We can't lower the price of these medications, and we can't lower the cost of insurance. Now, my own perception of the insurance company is, they're out there to create this industry that's supposed to really help people out for their needs. But it turns out that they are growing so big. It's such a for-profit industry that's in the billions and billions of dollars. They just wanted to grow the industries bigger, and they do want to sell you a policy, but they don't want to pay you for whatever the reason. Auto insurance, auto accidents, home insurance, home accident, and they payments and all that stuff is just very hard to deal with. Now, there are a lot of even life insurance. There's so many life insurance that are people always trying to tell you, you pay this amount for right now, and when you have any medical conditions, you are entitled to $100, $200, $1 million at the time of your needs. But little that they think about is at the time of your needs. It's like, hey, when you have cancer and when you're almost dying, you can claim $1 million of your insurance policy, but hey, you got 6 months to live. So, I don't know what good that is, because you can't really use the money, and you just pay into the the life insurance policy. I'm sure it'll probably help out, with the families and all that, but yeah, I personally don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. It's best if anybody can get a great job and save some money and put it into their own investment and invest those monies to make money. So anyway, I think I talked a little bit too long about the insurance policy. I'm not really happy about how our insurance policy is, how we dealt with our medicals and the big farmers. It's just horrible. Obamacare, there's been a lot of criticizing about the Obamacare, the way that it's been handled, the way it's been done. I think it's more political than anything, in between different parties, and people have different beliefs. But my perspective is it's actually a good attempt for the government to try and take control of the health and insurance industry. Of course, not successful. There's just many flaws to it. It's not nearly perfect, not at all, by a far margin. The worst part is when the rest of the other people who does not have any medical conditions, or people don't want to buy insurance, they make them buy insurance. Otherwise, there's a fine for them, towards their tax return, which is not a good idea. It's an option. People don't want to buy insurance, they don't want to buy insurance. That's a choice of their own. You cannot try to do one thing and make other people do another. But you know, honestly, it is a good attempt for the government to try and take control and turn this into a universal health care. I doubt it's going to happen. Insurance company is too strong, but it is a good attempt. So, what do you guys think? What are your experience with your insurance? And you know, talking about healthcare insurance. So, you know, what are your experience? Have you have any complications dealing with you know, your insurance for treatment? Leave me a message. We can you know, share some information. We all can learn from each other. So this is my own opinion, and you know, these are my experience dealing with the insurance in my time. Hope you like my video. If you like the video, please give me a like. Please subscribe. I have some other information to share, my own opinion, of course. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.